Hi everyone! Today we are going to do a tutorial on how I color skin. I am using the image Amber, and this is from Christine Karron. This is actually my channel's group buddy color, so if you want to join in, you can color this image. I'll leave a link in the description below to the Etsy page that you'll need to buy and download. But I'm going to teach you guys how I color skin using Prismacolors. Originally, this was going to be a color along, but I have decided instead to break it up. So when I originally started filming, I talked about how this is going to be a color along. So throughout that, you may hear a few references to that. And I will still be releasing this in parts, but just keep in mind it will no longer be one long video. So I just wanted to chime in and let you know that today is how to color skin, and I will be coloring the rest of her skin following the technique I teach you here today, and then we will go on to more parts. So enjoy! Hey there everyone! Today we are going to color Amber. This is an image by Christine Karron, and it is also my channel's group buddy color. If you're unfamiliar with what a buddy color is, it's just basically where you and another individual or a group color the same image. It's kind of fun just to see everyone's different take on it. And since this is the one for my channel, so like my subscribers, whether you're on my Discord or just in my community tab, we are all doing this page. So I thought it'd be fun to just color it on camera with you guys and kind of do like a little color along. So this will be one video split into chapters by parts. That way you can just skip ahead to what you want, and say you don't want to know how to color the rest of her dress or anything, then you don't have to worry about it. So we are going to start with her skin, and I am going to use Prismacolors. So I did put a little vote out, and Prisma was the most popular choice. Well, it was Prisma and something else. They were really close to one another. I get all my colors out. I will tell you the colors after I get them all out here. Now, I did decide to print on white paper. Normally, I prefer tan toned, but I know a lot of you don't have tan toned, so that is why I went with the white. But it does take a little bit more layering just to get out some of those white spots. I do want, so let's try this one too. Nope, not that one. This one. I'm getting out colors for her blush. We'll do the skin, and then we'll do the lips and eyes and stuff in another part. I want to try and make this as easily digested, so if you need to walk away, take a break, what have you, you can. I like to add beige and a little bit of eggshell. Okay, and then I just need my trusty Prisma white. Okay, move that out of the way. Hopefully the angle is okay, so my hand isn't in your way. So for the skin itself, we are going to be using Chestnut PC1081. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear the construction across the street. It's going to be going on for the next 2 years, so yeah. Then you'll need Nectar PC1092, Peach PC939, Light Peach PC927, Beige PC997, Eggshell PC140, and then of course the Prisma White, which is PC938. Now, look at these. A few colors I pulled for her blush. Mahogany Red PC1029, Blush Pink PC928, and Deco Pink PC1014. Alright, I'm going to sharpen these real fast. You do the same, and then we'll be back to start on her skin. Okay, I work dark to light. If that is not your comfort zone, then please go ahead and just work in reverse. We are going to start with Chestnut, PC1081. And I am using light pressure. Not normally my thing, but I have given in to the rules of layering when it comes to skin, and I do light pressure and layer in our colors. So right now we're using Chestnut in these darker areas where we're going to have some more shadow. Luckily this is a grayscale, so it's kind of, I don't want to say cheating in a way, but it's telling you where to put your darker colors. Do you have to follow it exactly? Absolutely not. There's oftentimes I kind of ignore some grayscale spots because I'm like, oh, I don't want it that shadowed. Alright, let's get some up here now. Again, light pressure. I'll be pulling it out as well. I kind of want her shadows to be a little bit more defined, just because she's got this hood on, so I just kind of feel like her face would be, you know, more in shadow. Oh, that construction noise is awful, isn't it? It's almost as bad as when they're remodeling my old house and doing my basement in this house. I almost wish I did put my art studio on the other side of the house. I don't think you would hear it back there. It is what it is. And they will be doing that construction for a while. That's why I can't just stop filming. Alright. I had thought of doing like voiceovers, but then I was like, wow, I don't have time for that. So I do apologize if the noise bugs you. You could always, you know, turn down the volume a little. Alright. Now we're just starting with a face, and I may end up just having you do the rest off camera. We'll see how it goes. This is a lengthy process. Alright, so Nectar, PC1092. Basically, I like to overlap my Chestnut and then bring this out just a wee bit further. Light pressure, but small circular motions. See, I'm just getting that contour of her cheek there. 'Cause she looks like she's got some good cheekbones. Those cheekbones we all want. This is really a pretty image from her. I'm sure it'll be in her book when she releases it, because she tends to get a few up on her Etsy store, and then they release in the book format. So it's entirely up to you if you want to wait for the book or buy the PDF. Depending on when you're watching this in the future, the book might already be out. Okay, so we're just getting this right up in here. Sometimes I do makeup on my gals, but I think I'm gonna leave her au naturel, except for like the little touches of blush. We'll see though. Sometimes I see that and then I'm like not feeling it, and I decide to come in with some color. You always want to get right here, you know, that's the little divot in your lip there. Turn your page as much as you need to. Make her chin a little bit more shaded here. Now I'm going to go around her lips a little, just because she's got some pouty lips, so she's going to create a shadow with those big luscious lips. I definitely don't have, but would like. Okay, I am gonna make it pretty heavy down here, but that's because she's got her head turned and she's got all this shading right here, or shadow. You know what I meant. The light's gonna hit here more than it's gonna hit that one corner. But always overlap your darker color and then just bring this one out ever so slightly. Okay, less is more. We can always keep adding. It's a real pain in the butt when you have to go back. It's barely showing up on camera. All right, take your peach, PC939. Again, I like to overlap. Now peach is leading into our main color, like the color that's really going to take over her whole skin. So you want this one to really help bring any contour areas together. And then of course, while we're going to use another color to do most of her skin, you have to keep in mind where your highlights are going to be and leave space for those, because in this case, like with Tantone paper, I would just go in with a white pencil and just mark them. Can't exactly do that on white paper. You have to leave the white space, and then of course we'll use the white pencil, but it's just not quite the same. So I'm going to make her more shadowed over here, because obviously that side of the face is not getting as much sunlight. And this is just layer number 1, by the way. Like, skin is one of those ones you just gotta keep layering and building. Trust me, I've tried to get away with one layer. It don't work. A for effort, but it doesn't work. We're coming across here to just capture the bridge of the nose. It's good practice anyways for when you're using pencils that don't just smush together and need those layers, you know, like polychromos or anything like that. Okay, same thing down here. Get in here a little. This is a pretty heavy grayscale. I think this PDF came in a lighter version too. I can't remember now though. Okay, now we are going to grab light peach, PC927. This is kind of like our base color that's going to go all over her face, except in our highlight spot. So you still want to leave some white space. And like I said, with Tantone paper, you could just pop it in there. But with this kind of paper, white paper, you can't. You have to naturally leave it in there. Granted, we will be going in with a white pencil, and you will see a little bit of a difference, but still, it really requires you to think about your highlights. And since I'm the type that goes light to dark, see how I'm leaving some white space here? It was a little harder for me to get used to white paper. Okay, so I always like to leave a nice little white spot at the top of her cheek here. So with those luscious cheekbones, she's definitely going to have a highlight. And same thing in the eyebrows. I like to leave a little bit of white space below the brow and just before the shading comes up. Again, we're still overlapping all our colors. And And same thing with the nose here. I want to leave white space here in the center. Just a little bit though, nothing crazy. And then a tiny bit right here on this lip of the nose, if that's even the right word, where the light's obviously gonna bounce a little bit. Now foreheads, you know, you always want to leave some white space on the forehead. She's got a bunch of jewels though, so our white space is going to be a little bit smaller. As you can see, I'm still overlapping. I'm leaving that, okay. Again, now we're going down to the neck. Now this one, I'm very lightly here in the center of this, covering over it. Not a ton. Okay, so you're probably wondering what the beige and eggshell colors are for. I will explain that as we get more into the layers, because right now, zoomed out, you can't see the layers as much. Zoomed in, you can see it a little better. Very light layers. I use these because occasionally with Prismas, you tend to get a little too peachy pink, and these can tone it back down, but I don't break these out until I feel it is needed. I am, however, going to grab my PC938, which is my white, and I'm going to add in, oops, got a bunch of shavings from my pencil sharpener. I'm gonna add the white, so we're gonna add white here to where that lip portion is popped up. Then add a little white here to the chin. Gonna add a little bit of white right here, little white here. Now as you go over, white right here again, as you go over this with pencil, the white will still pop through a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna add the white. I don't care that I'm covering up these little gem doodads because I'm gonna have to go back in with something thicker anyway. Same thing. Just above her cheekbone here. And then I'm going to add the white on the nose, because again, when we go over this with the other colors, these are all going to blend out. So I'm just basically establishing those highlights. Okay, now we're going to go in with our second layer, and we're going to use a little more pressure this time now that we've set down our base coat and we know exactly where things are going to go. So back to chestnut. I'm using like a medium to light pressure. Definitely do not want to burnish or smush anything here, because again, you may have to go in with a third, fourth, fifth. It just depends on layering until you get the effect you want on the skin. Like I want it darker in here. So I'm going to keep adding that. I want the inside of her eyelid fold there darker for sure. So you're going back where we had added chestnut the first time, just deepening up that color. I've increased the pressure a little bit because I'm more confident. I've already put down my colors and I know where they're at. I like them. So I can add a little more pressure, but again, not heavy pressure. And I am using the Nina 110 cardstock that I like to use. It does take quite a few layers, believe it or not. It is a smoother cardstock, but just because you hear the word smooth doesn't mean it won't take a bunch of layers. I can easily get like 7 or 8 layers on here. Will I do that many? No. But it can be done. You don't have to just use toothy paper to get layers, but you need to be mindful of the pencil you're using. Prismas can handle a smoother, cardstock, whereas if you have a layering pencil, you're going to want something toothier. So if you're following along with the Prismas, the Nina 110 will be just fine. Okay, I'm gonna darken up over here a little bit. And you'll notice I still left a white line here at the bottom of the chin because I want to separate the chin from under her neck. And we'll go in with a white pencil a little more over there too. Right now I'm just working on deepening my shadows. I have no idea what color I'm going to do this cape yet. First I wanted to do like a leathery cape, but now I'm thinking like a blue. Okay. Alright, now we're going to take our PC1092, which is our nectar. And we're just using a little bit more pressure this time. Overlapping and bringing out those colors. You should still see tooth to your paper. Deepen up that nose, make it obvious that there's a concaved? I don't know, whatever that word is. You know, it dips. That word. Gonna darken up over here more. Excuse me, because this side is definitely not gonna have as much light. Of course, I could have done like a fairy glowing skin and then it would be all bright, but so I'm going to deepen up this too because I mean, we got a lot of shadows from the hair, the headpiece, the hood. Go through here. But as you can see, it's a pretty pinky color, so occasionally that's where our other colors come in. I don't always end up using them, but I always have people break them out. Now we're overlapping. Keep using those circular motions if you can. That helps, because if you go back and forth, you leave the streaks. That's with any brand of pencil. Prisma are a little more forgiving on the streakies, but not that forgiving. But see how it's already starting to come together on layer 2? And we haven't even gotten into the other colors, but already you're starting to see the shadows, the highlights, all that. Could you have left it at layer 1? Sure. Alright, go to Peach, PC939. Same thing as we did before. You already know where your color goes because we laid down a nice light coat. Just basically bringing it out now, making it a little more dramatic. We will, excuse me, end up smoothing this out with like a Caran d'Ache blender, but I usually wait till the end because sometimes I want to do the hair first and make sure I'm okay with the hair before I blend out the skin. If you like get through all these layers and you're happy with it and got no issue, then you can go ahead and blend out. Like I said, sometimes I end up adding makeup after the fact, and once you use that Caran d'Ache blender, it's a little too waxy to add after. Tighten up in here. Get her chin a little more defined. I definitely want it darker over here. Okay, let's go down here to the neck. Just as before, we're still overlapping all of those colors, because if you didn't overlap, you would just have color lines like blocking their way through. That's not what we want to do here. Okay, grab Light Peach PC 927. And again, this is our primary color. You can almost use it like a blender, but don't push hard. I hesitate to use the word blender, actually. But you're overlapping everything. You can use a little bit more pressure, but do not burnish. Like the goal here is to bring all these colors together with this nice peachy color. But definitely not burnish her out. And remember where you left your highlights. Again, you'll feel it when your pencil hits that white. You'll feel that resistance, but you still don't want to cover it. I'll leave that little white divot as I press outward. Make sure you're moving your page around. I know it's kind of hard for you guys who are watching me, but that's why I kind of angled it oddly so that my hand would stay out of the way, but I could still move the page around. It saves my wrist. Okay. Let's go down to her neck. Often, like with the neck, hands and chest, I don't end up doing as many layers. And sometimes I'll just do one or two because they kind of get to where I need them to be a little quicker because there's less contours, and you know, the face is where you focus a lot of your time and effort, but that's why I was saying, like, you know, you can use what you've learned here to do the rest off camera, since we have a lot to color and I'm not speeding this up. It's all going to be real time. Although maybe I'll release like a sped up version after, just for those who want to see it all sped up. Okay. We'll bring in that highlight area a little more. There, see how her skin's coming together? Okay. So far she's not looking super pinky or peachy. Where's my... I do want to start adding in some of her blush areas just while I have my second layer, because I don't want to lose too much. So go with your mahogany red, PC 1029, we're just going to go very lightly with this color. A little bit goes a very long way. I'm just gonna kind of wiggle that in here. Remember, her contour is, oops, don't draw a line. Her contour is here. Like, picture yourself sucking in your lips, you know, like a fish. The top of your cheeks where you're not sucking in like a fish is your blush, and where your cheeks suck in is your contour. Granted, she can't do that for me, but I'm just gonna take a guess. And I'm trying to make this look more like her natural rosiness rather than makeup. Okay, grab blush pink, PC928. We're gonna go a little bit outside of where we had put down the mahogany red. Just bring it out a little bit. It will come into your highlight, excuse me. It will come into your highlight zone, but that's okay. We're just trying to make her a little rosy cheeked. Maybe she's warm from walking around in this cape thing in the summer. Then I like to add just a tiny bit of the blush to the eyelids. Do you have to? No. I just like to. Also like to add a teensy bit to the tip of her nose, teensy bit to the chin area, around the lips. Again, don't have to, it's just my thing. I like to get those eyes. This cough go away. Okay, mahogany red again. Only because I don't feel like that's deep enough. There we go. Now she's got that glow. I'm also filming at like the worst time of the day to be filming, so I apologize. With the kiddo's broken leg, I am limited on, or my schedule is not my own anymore. So I have to film during the bad natural sunlight hours. Let's just put it that way. Okay. There we go. Look at that pretty luscious face. See, if I hold it like this, you don't get all that light. Now you can see all the contour work we've done. But when I put it down, the light kind of washes it out. All right. Let's see. So I would say down here is almost done. I'm going to take my white, just kind of blend that in. I'm also going to take my white right here along the chin line and create that illusion that it rounds about. I like the way her neck is looking, so I'm actually going to buff that out. Once I find it. All right, we will use the new Karron Dash blender because these are gold and I don't want to sharpen one. So take your Karron Dash blender. If you don't have a Karron Dash blender, you can go ahead and use the Derwent blender or the, where are you? My other favorite blender, which is missing in action. Or you can use the Lyra Splendor Blender. Not only does it have the funnest name to say, but it works really well with the Prisma. Please do not use the Prisma blender. Just please don't. All right, so we're just gonna blend out very lightly. Don't press hard, because say I come back in here after I blend this and I'm like, ew, she looks weird. So I'm just very lightly blending this together, nice circular motion, just smoothing it out. Didn't sharpen it, I left it blunt because I feel like it glides easier that way. And also won't snap and hit me in the eye. You do you on that one. Also, when you're using this blender, try not to hit uncolored areas. It does leave a waxy film that is a real pain to cover up after the fact. Just fun fact. Okay, so now that we blended it out, so far I'm liking it, but I want to wait till her face is done, because after her face is done, I might go, oh, you know what, that white highlight is a little too much. So let's go in for our third skin layer. We are getting there. There's just a few things. See, when I hold it up, you can see so much better. A few areas I feel she's still too pale. I mean, granted, she is wearing a hood. For all I know, she's not a fan of the sun. Grab your chestnut. But we're gonna make her look like she's seen some sun. And I also want to make these contours a little more predominant. So again, you already know where your layers are going for this. So you're just overlapping and putting them down. Skin is quite the process. That's why I'm not even doing the lips and eyes in this one, because it would be here a really long time. Also, the other reason I don't, excuse my frog voice, I don't burnish or blend out the skin right away is I want to see how it looks after, because skin always looks funky before you do the hair, eyes, and lips. Like it never looks right. It'll either look too pale or not, like it'll look too bold. You need to wait till the whole face is done before you blend it out, because sometimes you're like, okay, now I do need to add more shadow. Other times it's like, oops, I need to erase something. So yeah, never call the skin done until the hair, eyes, and lips are filled in, and then go from there. You can call like these areas, but with a face I'm talking about. Because there's been many a times where I'll think, oh gosh, you know what, she could use like 3 more layers, and then I'll do that, and then I'll put in her eyes and her hair, and then she looks she looks like I went a little crazy with the makeup or something. So just want to keep that in mind. She's looking like really pale right now. Again, partially my lighting, because when I lift her up, you know, you can see her face. But once I get her hair in, that's going to help. And we are going to do the hair in Prisma. I'm doing the whole thing in Prisma. I normally don't do hair in Prisma, so this will be an adventure. Okay, I really want that little... Okay. Now let's grab our nectar. I think this third layer will be a good stopping point so that we can then do the other elements of her face and decide what she does need and doesn't need. Because like I said, skin can look really off until everything else is on. Not liking the way this area is popping together over here. So I'm going to add a little more depth. And with these third and fourth and fifth layers, you don't have to go over the entire thing. If there's an area that you're like totally okay with now, like you feel like that area is done, just leave it. This is kind of like me adding more color and depth where I feel it's needed. But yeah, if you like feel like this area of her forehead is done, then just leave it. Like you don't have to keep going as you add layers more and more. Okay, so now we're back to our peach. I'm going to darken this area, because I think that's where I went wrong. I left it too light over there. Ooh, black hair would look really nice too. Kind of between black, brown, blonde, and even red. So basically every color. I definitely want that highlight to be a little smaller over there. I just feel like it's too much right now. I'm gonna also shorten the highlight in here simply because of all the jewelry. I'm gonna bring this out a little. So see how I'm kind of using this third layer as like a fine-tuning layer. Yeah, there we go. Gonna add a little shadow around the lips now. Pull out a little bit from there. I feel like that's better. Okay. I keep dropping them. I'm surprised I haven't broken a tip doing that. All right, light peach. Again, light peach is kind of like our blender in a way. I'm just gonna bring this all back together. Oh yeah, I like her forehead a lot more now. What I'm gonna do over here is, see how I darkened that a little more. A little bit heavier pressure with a light peach because I felt like it was just not coming together over there. If you feel yours is looking good, then just leave it. I wanted mine to be a little more oomph. I'm not pressing hard either. I am moving a little faster, but I'm not pressing hard. I just want to get a few more layers of this peach in here. I can tell it's a little uneven here. Funny thing about skin is sometimes you have to like walk away from it and like come back to it, or look at it from different angles, because I swear you'll be like, oh, it's perfect, and then you'll walk away and come look at it in the morning and be like, what on earth did I do? At least I've done that. Like, it was perfect. I added too many layers. I swear lighting makes a difference. Like I said, every time I lift it up and show you, you can see the difference between this flat version and the one. See? Oh, such a difference. Okay. So, all right, I'm digging that. I'm gonna make this highlight just a little bit less noticeable. I'm gonna add a little more peach in here because I feel she's paling out a tiny bit there. Same thing with the nose. She doesn't need a monster highlight on her nose. If you don't have Prismacolor, you can use your Luminance, Black Widow, Polys. The process will be similar. You're gonna layer. You may need more layers depending on what you supplement with though. Yes, I used my hand. You should use a brush, but both of my brushes somehow ended up downstairs. Okay, now we're gonna take our mahogany red. I'm just gonna go one more time. Just to add that little bit. Not pressing hard at all, by the way. Okay, take our blush pink. And you can still see the tooth of the paper. I still got more layers I could add here. But again, like I said, you want to get to a certain stopping point and then give yourself the time to add, you know, her eyelashes, her eyes, her lips. I'm gonna add the pink a little bit over the tip of her nose. Just giving her a little bit of color. white. Just kind of lightly go over any highlight zones I've got. Okay, now we have our beautiful Amber with her first 3 layers of skin. So yeah, I think what we'll do, since we're already 44 minutes in and we've just done her skin, is let's go ahead and do her hand here, and then this part of her chest, I think, is all that's left of skin, using those same colors and same techniques. So just, you know, shade and just lightly layer and keep going. And then when we come back, we will work on other portions and maybe come back to the skin after. If not, and it looks good, we'll just buff it out. I just wanted to lift it up straight though, so you guys could see a little bit better all the contours and such that we've created, just because I feel like this poor lighting in here is just not letting or doing it justice. So I will see you guys in just a few minutes after we tackle the rest of her skin on our own, and then I don't know what we'll tackle next, but we will do something.